Y'all come over to school.
It makes somebody some real fine.
Real job. Sounds like a real job.
It's gonna take a little while.
That's something that they've been working on. Bill Crockett's been
You ever hit the follow button?
You ever follow like him? Click his follow button and it'll go down the list. Everyone he clicks on, it'll move it for you. It's supposed to.
Well,
Just go to join meeting.
over in that area years ago. But it's still, it didn't happen that school. You get inside the school, whatever. You actually have to get fish to the outside.
For something that we can do, I wish you'd let me know.
I definitely will.
Because I'm all for it.
Definitely will.
See you, Jason.
Okay, it's, 5 o'clock, we get this meeting called to order. I wanna welcome everyone here tonight. At this time, I want to turn the, meeting over to Mr. McCaleb, and he's gonna read our prayer list and lead us in prayer. Mr. McCaleb.
Thank you, sir. Remember, Tommy Mann and his family lost his mother, Miss Diana Shoulders, Joe Taylor here, Roger Lewis, Danny Blair, Jack Williams, Jude McCaleb, Courtney Taylor, Amanda Bone, a student at the UHS, Union Heights, has lost a father over the weekend. Let's pray for this family. John Teague, the husband of Miss Donna Livingston, and then Dr. David McDonald. Do we have any others that you'd like to mention to add to this? If not, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, God. Thank you for the chance to come before our Creator. You love us so much. Thank you that we're able to come to your throne of grace in a time of need. Thank you for the love that you've shown us through the cross, salvation, God. Pray for this meeting tonight. Pray for this board. Pray for our students. Pray for the safety of our students, the faculty, everyone's involved in getting our students to and from school. And we can't thank you enough for what you've eternally done for us through the cross. In Jesus' name we pray.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope you've all had a chance to look at your board packets. First thing on the agenda is our consent items. Do I have a motion? Mr. Taylor, do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
A second, Mr. Lewis. Anybody want to discuss any of these? Anybody got discussions on any of these consent items? If not, I'll have a roll call on it. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hassan?
Yes.
Mr. Ena? Yes. Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Superintendent's actions. Again, you should have all read these. Any of these you want to discuss? If not, we'll go on to new business. New business is bid approval for mulch vendors. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Manning. Mr. Taylor, discussion.
This is using our grant, some of our grant money here.
Yes.
The grant will pay 80%. We have to pay for it, and then they reimburse us 80%.
This is the grant we received back from ours.
Yes, yes. Through the state.
How much is that gonna leave balance for the school?
Well, if you take 20% of 325,000, I haven't calculated exactly, that'll be about
That's 60, roughly 62.
64,000, what is that, $65,000 that we will have to pay. And you'll notice that in the amendments, when we get to those in a little while, I was moving money around in order to cover the expense. So, we're paying 20%, the state will reimburse us the 80%.
Could I add to that? We spend roughly, without looking, I figured it up one time, if we paid for the rebel mulch would pretty much be a lifetime thing. If it would pay for itself in 10 years, I think, by itself, 8 to 10. So we're getting the 80% of this covered. It'd actually be a good investment if we just took it and bought it straight out, but we've been able to use recycled tires to get 80% of it paid.
Any other questions? Not just as money we're spending, it's a roll call. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Ennis? Yes. Mr. McHale?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Self, yes. And next thing on the agenda is a request to purchase new serving line for CES. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. McCallum, second? Second, okay. Now I'm gonna open this up for discussion. If we have any questions, I have Miss Stephanie here tonight. Yeah, she's here back here. Yeah. If y'all have any questions about it, before we vote on it.
I went by it today and looked at it, probably made the equipment old, and Miss Jennifer lady in charge said a lot of times the heating elements in the working correctly. Of course, you got all kinds of danger too, for problems there too. So I think it's a good idea.
When we got to 1.3 million was free money when we upgraded the kitchen. Stephanie had the insight, had the engineers, it's all upgraded for the new equipment, so it'll be an easy step replacing it as we can afford to do that. And again, I think three things we're voting on tonight. Grants are covering a whole lot of them. I think you're getting 50% of this 60, roughly. So,
It's gonna last.
it'll last that building.
Original stuff in
Yeah.
it right now. 30 or 40.
Your kitchen's way ahead of the rest of the building now, isn't it?
Anything else from anyone? If not, roll call again, because this is money. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hassan?
Yes.
Mr. Ennis? Yes. Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Line item, amendments to the F25141 budget. Motion,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Taylor. Discussions? Any questions?
Is that everything in this, that what we're voting on, approving this, is that what that is?
No.
No, that's,
This is line item, but.
Yeah.
Money from one section to another section.
Okay.
you're not asking for no more money, it's just moving the money around.
If you approve it tonight, it goes before the county commission next Monday night, like the entire commission. The main reason I did the amendments was to move the money around to purchase the mulch, but as I was looking, there was a few other things that needed to be amended also, so I just took care of some of those while I was going through the process.
So when the grant money comes in, you'll just replace the funds you took it out of?
Yes, the mulch won't be actually done until June, so the grant money may not come in until July. So it can be replaced, but it may be in next year's fiscal budget before we receive it, so I don't.
But it
think-
will,
Yeah,
I
I can
mean,
tell you
Scott, it
that-
will be replaced
yeah.
back when it comes in.
It may not.
And it may hit, it could hit before
It could,
we get
but
billed.
working with the state and knowing they're not gonna start until school's out and get finished in June, it may not come in until next year, but we're gonna get it, so it all, adds up.
Okay.
But it may not come back to this budget.
Any other questions? Not, we'll do a roll call. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Ennis? Yes. Mr. McHale?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Request to approve Central Technology Incorporated for the E-rate services. Motion,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis.
Second.
Mr. Manning. Discussions.
Can you explain real quick what this in a general, what this pertains to, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. McCallum, this is for technology purchases. The E-rate program is a federal program, and kind of like some of these grants, we get these services at a discounted rate. The difference here is we pay the discounted rate. It's not a reimbursement grant. And so it's for new wireless access points for 6 of the schools to improve the Wi-Fi. I'm doing 3 schools this year, and this is to request to purchase enough for the 6 remaining schools for next school year.
And if you see out there what it's actually costing again and what we're getting funded,
We pay 20%.
it's a pretty big deal. We get it for
And,
free,
E-rate
80% of it.
pays 80.
How long are these contracts good for, this E-rate, do you know?
It's a 5-year funding cycle, but what I'm requesting for this is just a 1-year.
Anything else? If not, roll call. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Ennis? Yes. Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Next item is request to approve the state master contract for E-rate purchases. Motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis? Mr. Manning? Discussions?
So what's the same question, Dylan, what's
So,
this?
so that, the first one was the approval to purchase from a specific vendor. This is to approve a contract with that vendor. It's part of the process the Federal Communications Commission requires. So you voted to approve that vendor. Now this is to approve for us to enter into a contract with that same vendor.
You don't get the E-rate money if you don't provide this contract, is what it boils down to.
Is this company, are they a Tennessee-based company, or do you know?
Yes, they're based out of Knoxville.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, roll call. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Ennis? Yes. Mr. McCallum?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
And I'd like to comment, E-rate funding, Dylan, brings in probably over $200,000 a year if we count internet services and category 2 equipment easily. So we're looking at E-rate providing that much money for us each year.
Next item on the agenda will be discussions of the school audit for 23-24. I think we all have that here, which is in the,
Let Mr. Smith or Norma explain this. I know for the new board members, this is our independent.
Yeah,
audit.
this,
This is not the state.
that's what I tell people all the time. It would be really hard, or you wouldn't be very smart to vote to see it, okay? We hire an independent that we pay for, okay? And then that's not counting all the state and the federal and the local and the daily. But this is our independent. We've been with her several years now, Tammy Beckham, she does several school systems. But we will go over these findings. Some of them, as systems their size, you can't get, because of personnel, you couldn't get some of the findings out. But I'll let Norma explain that more in depth. But we will go over each one of these with each school, try to correct them. You know, there's nothing major in any of them, they're really good overall, but they will be tried to be their best corrected.
We are working on these. We've had some turnover at a couple of the schools of bookkeepers. Anytime you get a new bookkeeper in, they're not gonna have as perfect of an audit as someone that's been here for 25 years. And Tamara says our new bookkeepers are doing awesome. It's just they need to, work on a couple of things. So we're working with them to try to get them to where the findings are not repeated any longer. Yes. I think we have 3 that have new bookkeepers.
So like on page 20, Ms. Norma, on this one here, maybe I'm just, you've got Smith County system, school system, is that, each school is, I misread that, I'm sorry, but.
I didn't know what page.
What
you're
page
on.
you on?
Page 20, 20, that's just you know looking only? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're looking at their revenues and expenditures for that school only. So each school is broken down by what they spent and what they brought in, and that's always given to you guys each and every year.
Is there any time that who is checking to make sure there isn't a difference from the previous year by, let's say, I'd say a big amount to me would be a minimum of $10,000. Is there sometimes differences from, you try to compare them year to year?
Well, let me say that, I think sometimes this is not, we fund the schools and the education and all that, This is basically in-house. This is like
That's
their
right.
own, what they raise, what they
Correct.
wanna do, okay?
Correct.
So it's not a mandate, so to speak.
It's discretion of the principal.
Yeah, and, you know, some of them, we've had principals that didn't want to keep a lot. We've had principals that's got some pretty healthy fund balances, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
And there's nothing to say, like, we've got some high schools that have had some massive donations over, and I know 2 or 3 massive donations probably coming. So it's gonna be skewed compared to a New Middleton or the defeated that's having to raise every dime they've got, you know what I mean?
That just seems like that's a lot of money to a little school, and I'm not even questioning that, but I'm like.
You know, we had, you know, a few years ago, we had a family that left, was it $100,000 or $200,000 to this particular school you're talking about? That was for playground equipment. I mean, we have some pretty nice donors that come back to some of these schools. There's a reason some of the fund balances are like they are. And some of them do a really good job, you know, with their basketball teams and with their, you know, like Defeated runs that league, he brings in a lot of money on the books out there, you know. They don't have to do that, but they go over and beyond. Some don't want to do that, you know what I mean? That's the reason you can't. Some of them, and I'm not knocking one, but some of them work a lot harder for their fundraisers than others.
So that balance at the end of 23 at New Middleton was 95,000 in general. We began that year with it. All I'm getting at is now it's 110,000 as at the end of June. What would happen if, that money just keeps carrying over and over and over? Is that what happens directly?
It couldn't go, it's still gotta be spent with parameters. They couldn't just go out and spend it.
I know that.
But like, he may be, I don't know, but we could sit down, you know, most of these principals have a goal, you know, they want to do a new playground, or they want to do something neat in the gym, or they want to do, you know, they can't provide buildings, we've gotta provide those for them, but they can, over and beyond the bottom line, they can go over and beyond and.
So, you know, we talked back earlier this school year about fixing that lane change at New Middleton to get those cars off the road. And we've got to use the new system now that we're under delegated by the county. They've got to approve it, correct? The money, if we go.
Well, this is a different set of money.
I know
Yeah.
that, but I'm making a point here. So that's a different set of money, but why don't we, if they don't approve to give us that money, the county, we don't use some of this money to do that?
Well, I'm not sure you can, because.
It's really not the board's money.
That's what, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, that can only be spent certain ways too, that you can't, like, they couldn't save the money up and say, hey, I went to the board and they tried to get us to build us a room because we're out. We have to provide certain things, and that might fall in that, but it would be something we could ask, but there's no, Robbie's shaking her head, we probably couldn't use it for that, I wouldn't think. But, you know.
Well, I mean, who's then decides, who's the regulatory, who's deciding that can be used?
State or federal, like this auditor or different auditors would tell us what we could or couldn't do. We would ask that question.
But in theory, that's still, we're over that money, the board is, aren't we?
You're over it, but like he's saying, it's really their money. Like you couldn't go over and say, oh gosh, New Middleton's got 100,000 and Gordonsville's only got 5, we're gonna give them 50. You couldn't do that. It'd be like me getting in your checking account and giving it to Joe, you know what I mean?
Because that wasn't budgeted money from us,
Yes.
that's money
Now,
from
we do oversee that
fundraisers.
they spend it right. You couldn't just go over and say, hey, I'm gonna give them whatever because I like them and they teach over here, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Now, they could come over and say, Mike could say, I want to build a sidewalk coming out where the teacher don't get wet or something, you
So
know.
look, instead of me like chasing a tail here, and I know everybody's sitting here listening saying, boy, you're chasing, I am. But I don't understand who says that they can, they is the word, or who is in charge of, let's say we need, something in the school.
But you see it now, Marty, copy machines, when you do approval, like.
They might say they want one of those riding,
But they don't have to
money.
ask nobody to spend that money.
they still have to get approval. They would still go through and get purchase
We're
orders
giving them approval
so that
by
there's a
the
paper
time.
trail for this audit, see what I mean?
I got you.
That way they couldn't just go out and spend it or spend it with their best friend.
Well, I'm getting at this point, I'm not I wouldn't take one dime from that, no, but I'm getting at, what if we don't get the approved money from the county to fix that parking situation over there with cars coming in at entrance. I mean, what are we gonna do to get the money, because that needs to be fixed. We know it, everybody sitting here knows, anybody goes over and picks a kid up, or has to go through by that school on the road in the afternoon or morning, knows that. And I just want people to clarify, because sometimes, you know, we just don't, we assume everybody knows, but, so that money right there could not be used in any shape or form to help in that area.
That would be a question I could ask, but she's shaking her head. I would say no. I'd
They
say
have
you could.
monthly bills they pay, they have to keep so much in their fund to be able to pay their monthly bills.
So has that money been allotted, I mean, so that money that's sitting there has been allotted to them to a certain point to us?
It's money that they have raised.
Fundraiser money.
They're raising their own revenue, so they write their own checks, they do everything within the, that's what this audit is for, is essentially an audit of their checkbook to make sure that all the, you know, everything's in balance. But we don't have the ability to tell them how to spend that money, because they've raised it, and like Barry said, some of them have been working on projects for years, you know, to save for new playgrounds or new, you know, PE equipment or, you know, whatever it is that they're purchasing. You know, you can't, the school board can't tell each individual school what to do with their fund balance within each school.
I got you. That's it.
Understand?
Yes, sir, I'm satisfied.
I mean, I was just looking here, I ain't gonna sell them out, but we've got one school I'm looking at right here. You know, and it didn't show, and they're not having, but they've got until how many $100,000 on CDs that people has left them, okay? But, you know, they could put restriction, I can leave $1 million to Smith County High School and say I want to go for scholarships. See, the school, it's the school's money, but they can't spend it because it's got certain restrictions on it.
I understand that.
Anything else? If not, we're going, next item is, for discussion is clear backpacks. And Mr. McCaleb wanted to bring that up, and I thought it was an excellent idea. The only thing that I would suggest, if we decide to do that, at the next board meeting, put that on the agenda, pass it plenty in advance of any parent that I wouldn't want to wait till a month before school starts and pass this.
No.
Because it's not gonna, a lot of parents have been going out and bought backpacks, this, that, and other. Well, that would be no good. They'd have to turn around and buy a clear backpack.
Well, when the time, I'd like to intervene, if it's all right.
Okay, yes.
Two things, I've had parents come to me and say, we think it's a great idea, we don't wanna do it in the middle of the year, da-da-da. But Norman and I talked, Robin and I talked, I really feel like if the board wanted to do this, I feel like there'd be a lot of private donations. I don't wanna put any companies' names here, but I could name one or two I think would really jump in there. I think if we just went basic, the school could probably afford it. I mean, you're not talking about, now there'll be some that won't like the basic, they'll have to have one that's got a 454, you know what I mean, loaded up, but I think we could at least say, here's your clear backpack, if the board wanted to do that, it would meet. And we went back and looked, we thought at one time it was a board policy, but we couldn't find it nowhere.
We had clear backpacks back years ago.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
remember.
we did, that was your, and I wondered what had happened to that. I mean,
But we
it was,
couldn't find it anywhere that if it's actually a board policy, it'd
I
been easy
don't
just
know
to.
if it was a policy or we just implemented it. for a few
Implemented it.
Years after one of those shootings, you know, and then it kind of.
Right. Right, but that was my thing, is get it, if we decide we're gonna do it the next board meeting. Have it put on the agenda and vote on it, or discuss what we're gonna do, but I just don't wanna, and if you're talking about letting them furnishing them clear backpacks, which that's gonna eliminate a lot of problems.
Yeah, but that's gonna be
It just
complaint.
means, the speech needs to be perfectly clear that they are clear backpacks.
And then that's something else that, I don't know if that's a safety committee thing or a board thing, because I've already had that, you know, obviously there's gonna be situations where privacy needs an inner bag, you know, and we need to decide, does that wanna be a 4x4 or 4x6, or you kinda defeat the purpose if you get it too big. But I think there's situations that need the privacy, you know what I mean?
So that needs, the safety committee, looks to me like needs to
Put the
be,
restrictions on.
to put the restrictions on it and then bring it before the board. what we need, how they want it done.
Somebody in the system go to some company and say, hey, we may need 500.
Well, that's what, if,
Price, we
if,
want you to.
if we feel like that this is something that's gonna go on the board agenda next month, and you give me permission, I will start trying to call companies and see if they, or private people, and see if they might donate enough, and see what we can actually buy them for. And so I could get, and if it's just, if there's no more than I think there'll be, I think we could furnish them. It wouldn't be a, a 3-latch supermodel, but it would be enough to meet the standards.
So that would be,
Most of the price. If they
Yeah.
got 'em, everybody pay $2 instead of a few people paying 6, give them the distribute them out.
I really feel like there'd be some people step up and wanna donate, you know what I mean?
that would be for both sexes, a clear backpack, it don't regard a student.
Clear
Clear
backpack. If you're labeled a student, it's a clear backpack, period.
The only thing with that, I don't know how you get around that, is what do you do for athletes that's gonna have ball bags, and, I mean, they may have to have them checked, their checkpoint or something, I don't know.
You just take those to the locker room.
Think it-
I think we,
You're gonna have your ball bags.
Yeah.
So you're saying sports bags, stuff like that are packed around during school hours?
What?
Like, ball bags?
No, we're just saying that.
In other words, they don't pack them
They
around
wouldn't
in
bring them
school.
around, as they come in the entrance, I guess you could say, and then the coach could wander, whatever, you know what I mean?
Bub, can I ask just
But, I
a,
mean, are they, why, that's what I'm saying, in other words, they carry them from classroom to classroom?
No, they do some of them, because like the young kids might come in and not have it right, like Tucker, he keeps his in his truck, so it wouldn't be an issue, but
Right.
we got some 6, 7, 8 graders, that's the only way they've got is to bring their ball bags in with them in the morning.
Is there not a place that we
They
could
put them
fix?
in the locker room, but they'd have to be checked different, is what we're saying.
In other words, I
They
would
wouldn't
not,
be between the classes, no.
okay, gotcha, that's what I was getting at, right.
to say that, what are you talking about, Mr. Shoulders?
If you come in with a bag that's got baseballs, bats, glove,
Basketball.
I was asking if you packed that around with you, why would you pack that around with you all day? There would be no reason for it, I don't think.
No.
It needs to have a place, when it's brought into school, it needs to have a place to be put and leave it there until it comes
Is
sports
that
time.
feasible?
I mean, that's what I'm getting at, that's what you're saying,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
We had them at one time, you know what I'm saying, I don't remember. And now we don't have them. So why did we have them? You had a why did we have them, and now we don't have them?
It don't,
Say-
we couldn't find it, Joe, it wasn't during my time.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm saying, we couldn't find it was ever a policy, and I would assume it was during those first incidents.
early 2000s.
It
Yeah,
was,
and I assume it's when those first bad things happened, and we just started, and but we couldn't find anywhere that the board actually voted, made a policy.
I know
Make
it was,
a policy, then everybody had,
when it was done, I know, the reason I'm saying this, when it was done, because I can remember, it was done like 3 or 4 weeks before school started. And all these parents got upset, and I didn't blame them. They done bought these real fancy, nice backpacks, and then we say, no, you can't use them, you gotta be clear backpacks. I can understand, and that's the reason I wanted to do this now, where everybody has plenty of time to make a,
so are you saying have them ready by
What?
next year, or go ahead, if somebody donated them, have them ready now?
no, I'm talking about having ready the beginning of this next school year, have it implemented, this upcoming school year, it has to be implemented, period.
My question is, like he was talking about earlier, if girls, they gotta bring some of their stuff to school with them. Boys, a lot of them don't have to worry about it, I mean, hopefully. Well, they gotta have a little something put in it, well, you can get a pistol or a knife or anything that big.
Yeah.
So when you permit them to bring a little bag that's enclosed, you're really not, you're defeating.
I think you're defeating the purpose, correct?
well, and that's what I was trying to ask you, Director. I mean,
Years ago, they did pencils and rulers and stuff, and they wasn't clear, they had colored little bags inside of their backpacks.
I just wanna play devil's advocate off Mr. Enoch over here. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind having a little bag or something like that in these clear ones. But then you also got these sports bags being brought in the building that could have AK-47 in for all we know, so aren't we kind of defeating the purpose of doing this? I mean,
That's what I'm saying, that's.
I mean, if a kid's gonna bring a
That's
weapon
been
to
the call.
school, they
Yes,
just
sir,
gonna,
that
if they're gonna bring a,
I've got a daughter, how you gonna tell her she can't?
I'm gonna hush. If you're gonna bring a weapon to school, you're not gonna put it in that clear backpack, you're gonna put it in that sports bag. So what are we going to accomplish?
And it ain't, that's your, I think the safety board's gotta come up.
Okay, but I mean, how are we gonna stop the sport bag at the door?
What?
You see what I'm saying? I
Well,
mean,
there's a SRO at every door, he would see whether or not I had a clear bag, and should be looking to see if it's in.
okay, and I got you on that, but if they're bringing a sports bag with them, if you got half a brain, you carrying a weapon in there, you're not gonna put it in the backpack, you're gonna put it in the sports bag, so isn't it defeating the purpose to bring both through the door? I mean,
And a lot of times they can just go straight to the locker room.
I'll just tell you.
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna have to have something to do with sports, because they're gonna bring them, you know?
yeah, so,
If you
I
have a
mean,
clear backpack, listen, if somebody won't bring a gun to school.
They're gonna bring it.
I can tell you there's several ways how to get it out.
They're gonna bring it.
Anyway, if they're gonna bring that gun, they're gonna bring that gun.
Yep.
Now, I didn't like the clear backpacks back when we put them in years ago, it lasted 3 or 4 years. Chris, you was young, you probably carried one. Some of y'all would have probably.
So is the incident with what happened there and with that incident at Orangeville, so just to shed some light on it where the general public would know, Mr. Shoulders, you're gonna let the safety committee come up with some guidelines or protocols, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then we will bring it to the board
And we'll vote on it.
and then we'll vote on it.
Yes or no?
And when we're gonna try and do that, by the next meeting? That'd be the chairman of the
I don't
safety.
wanna put it off. I don't wanna put it off too long. I just want it in time, plenty of time for these parents to make arrangements in case we don't furnish them. They could go out and do.
Well,
Or then again, the board might just vote it down and not do it.
That's true. That's true.
So I think that's what we're saying, we need to bring it from the board, vote it in or vote it out. Vote it in, and it's going in front of the safety committee for them to say, hey, there's no pouches or a 3x3 or
so
whatever.
if the safety committee, which would be Mr. Lewis is the chairman, Mr. McDonald's on it, I'm on it.
Yes.
So if us three decide we want a metal detector in every school, at every doorway entrance, let's just pretend it costs $100,000, and this board approves it, the funding is gonna be done how? Would the New Milton School have to pay out of their funds that we're talking about?
That would be something that the board or grant would, I would think would pay. Now, they could probably come back and say, hey, we've only got one, we'd like to have 9, and we got the money, but I think we'd have to meet the standard burden, whatever we done for one, do them for all.
But the safety committee would bring it before the board and we could vote it down as well as we could pass it. Y'all could recommend it, but we could also vote it down.
I understand that. So us guys, I mean, do we have to officially say tonight when we wanna meet, or me and Mr. Lewis and Mr. McDonald say?
That would be your chairman
we
to
just,
discuss with.
we just discussed.
Would it have to be an
decide when
open
we meet.
meeting? It wouldn't have to be an
Yeah.
open
Yes,
forum.
it's gotta be, it has to be run in the paper, put on the website, and, you know,
And set a time and,
just like a
a
board
day,
meeting.
just like a board meeting. Now, we can go ahead correct me if I'm wrong, we can go ahead and put on the backpack thing on the agenda for next month to vote it yes or no. And if we vote it yes, then we turn it over to the safety committee to critique it.
You say critique it?
Critique it.
I got you.
Because if we vote it in, y'all, all you can do is critique it and then bring it back to us. Then again, we can vote it yes or no.
Are we gonna have a executive session tonight?
She
Ain't
says
out there
yes.
yet,
But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute.
Is it, do you feel like there's enough interest? Do you want me to start checking prices and donations? Okay.
I mean, I've been told that, I'm just being honest, is the clear, do they hold up good? Will they hold up a school year,
The ones I've seen are not the quality, obviously, of a canvas backpack.
so why why is the emphasis then maybe sometimes on a mesh type? I don't know the difference. What's the difference in,
Well,
if
you
you
can't,
think they're mesh?
Scotty could probably elaborate on this, but you can't see through them like you can
You can't.
clear, can you?
I'm still trying to understand why we're gonna go clear backpacks and let them bring a different gear bag in the house. They could have a rocket launcher in it. You got a clear backpack in one hand, right, like, I mean, it seems a little bit redundant to me, but
Again,
it's gonna be
safety
still.
committee is gonna critique all of it.
I'll tell you, I've been down this road one time, and we done it like, week before school started. It wasn't pretty, was it?
No.
I remember how it went over in my house, not very well.
I respect Mr. Sheridan, we're gonna do something like this. I'm gonna tell you, I've been down this road.
Yeah, and that's the reason I'm saying, I wanna act, and it's not for this school year, it's for the upcoming school year. That gives everybody plenty of time to do what they need to do. Yeah. Okay, any more discussion on these clear backpacks? If not, we're gonna move on to, I hope you've all had a chance to look at your annual policy review of February. Any questions? If not, you said we do need the executive session, and I'm gonna ask for a motion to go into executive session.
I just got a question real
Yes, sir.
fast. Before you do that, could we revisit superintendent actions just for a moment? Can we, are we able to do that? Cause I had a note here for a question and I, somewhere through here
Yeah, I
lost
guess
that.
you can, yes, sir.
Anybody have a problem with that or?
I didn't hear what you said.
I just wanna know if we could revisit superintendent actions a moment. I just had a question for the director,
I don't have a
not,
problem as long as you don't talk.
all right, that's simple question. How many school days we got left, sir?
How many school days we got left?
How many snow days we got left?
We've got 2 left. We have, her school director for the state, or, what am I trying to call her, you know, she has declared one Friday as a, emergency day, so we know we can recruit more, so 1, just by asking, so we'll have 3.
I know you can't control the
I had it
weather, but I
wrote down to
just
say that.
kinda wanted to know. Thank you.
But we do have 2, and there's a 4th that Angel said, well, we might get used different, so we have 3 for sure.
Thank you.
Now, I need a motion to go into executive
I'll
session.
make a motion, we go to executive session.
We got, in a second, all right, all in favor?
I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah.